here.
Oh, okay.
All right, do it again. Now you can show the camera.
Okay.
I
I didn't
book
mean
on
to
me.
interrupt you, though. I thought we could have a visual while you were speaking.
All right, you have a visual. All right, so anyway, we're talking about, you probably guessed, what happens if you've worked really hard, you got the business going, what happens at the end? Do you just sell it and let it go? Do you give it to a relative? What do you do? I don't know that we've ever had this topic before. We've had lots of authors talking about starting a business, but never finishing one.
No.
Never saying, okay, I'm done. Let me close the door for the last time. Sounds sad, doesn't it? I don't want to retire ever.
No, never, ever, ever.
But anyway, the book that we're talking about that Robin was just holding up for the camera is Cashing Out of Your Business, Your Last Great Deal. It is written by our guest, Kathleen Richardson-Mauro. She has owned and operated 5 small companies, successfully assisted more than 150 business owners in achieving their transition goals. That almost sounds like you're dying, doesn't it? It's my transition. She's an advocate for church, family, and the community, which is always good. Cashing out of your business, your last great deal. Good morning, Kathleen.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Where are you?
I am actually just north of Tampa. I'm not far from you.
Oh, okay. Wow, you should have come in.
Yeah.
I'm just down the road. I'm in Ocala all the time. Love it.
Oh, see, now we do business. We broadcast now from the mall, and we've only been here since July. And almost every one of these, except for the anchor stores, they're probably all small businesses, right?
Yes, there's Ocala is definitely an area of small business. I know a lot of business owners up there.
So let's see. If I was going to guess as to what to do, do I just sell it? I don't know. I mean, do I just say, hey, my business is up for sale. I worked really hard to make this work. I want somebody to keep it going. And put a dollar amount. My brother's a veterinarian down in Sarasota, and when he broke away from the clinic that he was at in wherever he was,
Keystone Heights.
in Keystone Heights, he started his own business, but basically bought somebody else's already established.
Right, and that is a great thing to do. I'm a big advocate for purchasing an ongoing business because it gives you a jump start in what you're doing. You don't have to start from scratch and go through all those years of trying to build a customer base and a client base. And that's very typical, and I definitely believe that that's the thing to do if you're going to get into business. It's much easier, and you have a much higher success rate. But most people don't think about getting out of their business, as you mentioned, and they most often they think they can just sell it. They'll pick a price, they'll put it on the market, and voila, it'll happen. And that is not the case, and that's not usually the typical thing that happens. So it can be a very big shock.
So how do you price it? Let's use a hot dog stand just for make it simple. A lady runs a hot dog vending thing on the corner. She's been there 10 years. Now the physical purchase would be the hot dog machine, whatever that is, right?
Correct.
But then isn't there another additional value of the customer base that always expects to see a hot dog lady on that corner?
Of course there is, and the thing is there's many different values for any given business at any given time, and that's one thing that people find very fascinating is they think there is one value, but the value is usually represented by the cash flow stream. What can you make from that hot dog stand is what is going to be looked at by an outside buyer, or even if she had a partner that was running the hot dog stand with her, they're going to look at what can I actually make from this hot dog stand. So that is going to translate into a price. Your internal buyers typically will pay less for a business than an external buyer, but it all depends because there's ways. It's not about price; it's about what you get to keep. And a lot of times, your external buyers, if you are lucky enough to find an external buyer and actually consummate a deal, your taxes and fees can really eat away at what you're going to get to keep. Where some internal strategies, even though the price may be less, you might be able to keep more. So it's not just about price, and that is something that's very difficult for most owners to have a concept of because they believe that the highest price is always the best.
But they also believe that the highest price is great because they put so much of their heart and soul into that business that it's like letting a part of them go.
Absolutely it is. And so it does have that emotional, psychological tie that am I going to get enough from this? Am I going to get enough to retire or to continue my lifestyle? And I've put 30 years of blood, sweat, and tears into this, so it should be worth X in my mind. So being able to work through that minefield of really understanding what the facts are and the reality is and being able to translate translate that into a future lifestyle is what we focus on.
And what about keeping a hand in it, or like the let's say you're trying to sell your business, and somebody comes forward and says, I want to buy your business, but I want you to keep a hand in it, and that's kind of a leveraging thing. You're going to continue making money, but I'm going to run it. Would you advise against that, or what do you think about that?
Well, it's really kind of difficult to become, to turn from being the owner to being an employee.
Yeah.
And wanting someone else to run your business, it's a little difficult. And even times when I thought that it was going to be a good fit, there's usually a point in time where it's just not comfortable anymore. Most owners, most new owners that come in and purchase a business are going to want the existing owner to be there for a while, unless they are a competitor or a supplier, or they're in the industry as a synergistic buyer, and they know exactly what to do, and they're going to put their own people in there. But if it is a typical situation where an owner is coming in and purchasing the business, they're going to want that business owner that's leaving to be staying there for a while to help train them and introduce them and show them the techniques that have made them successful. But it's usually a marriage that doesn't last real long because of the differences in the in the way that they relate to each other. Right,
and because of that fact, is that part of your advice? Is to plan on it being a short-lived marriage?
It is, and usually, even if you have an employment contract, it may become so uncomfortable that you're like, a year is, or 6 months or a year is all that's going to really be feasible and work.
Yeah.
So you have to plan on that what you're getting from the business or other opportunities that you have are going to provide you the lifestyle income that you need, that you've become accustomed to.
And should you get a broker, or should you try to sell it yourself?
I never believe that people should try and sell it themselves. If you read the book, you'll see that in there's many case studies of people that thought, well, why would I spend the money, or why would I go through all that headache? I know some people that have approached me and said, when you're ready to sell, call me and I'll be there. Well, finding out if those people really can buy the business, if they really are a true candidate, to qualify them and know if they are going to be a good fit for what your goals and objectives are. Forget about the price, forget about if they're a warm body and a buyer, but are they going to fit what you need to have accomplished? Maybe you've got key employees or family. The other thing is that because business owners are so excited about their business, they want to tell everybody about it. So you have a buyer that approaches you and talks to you about your business. Before you know it, you've basically given away all of your trade secrets, your information. You don't need to buy it anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. In this business, when radio stations go dark and they're not on the air anymore, they can only sell really for what the equipment is worth. It's a big, big shame. So radio stations that decide to sell will do everything they can to stay on the air, and that makes them more valuable.
Absolutely. And it's no different with any other type of business. It has to be a going concern. So that's why, we really feel very passionate about trying to make sure that businesses are positioned correctly for whatever their eventual transition option they want to accomplish is. Because once you've passed that life cycle of being a viable business, that's all you really have are the assets. So it can really demoralize someone to find out that their business is not worth what they thought it was anymore because it's past that useful life.
Is it easier to sell a private business as opposed to a publicly traded business?
No, well, a publicly traded business, you can go on to the Wall Street Journal, you can go on to the Dow, and you can find out any day, or whatever stock exchange they're on, what they're trading at and what the price would be. With a privately held business, there's a price that needs to be established. So there's no ready, willing, and able buyer where it's not a commodity like you can trade stock. So you have to create the market for your business, and to do that, you need to have a very well-run business, not just profits. It can't be dependent upon the owner. That is number one thing. It needs to be a business, not a job.
Kathleen Richardson-Mauro, thank you for being on the air with us. Kathleen wrote the book with Jane Johnson, by the way. The book is called Cashing Out of Your Business. I have a copy of it if you would like the copy I have. The rest of us have to go buy it. Kathleen, how do we do that?
You can go to our website, which is www.businesstransitionacademy.com, and you can purchase the book there. And we're also available on Amazon, and it is on Nook and Kindle versions as well.
Okay. Kathleen, thank you for being on the air with us. Next time you're in the area, come back on.
Thank you so much.
Fun
Have a
interview.
great day.
We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives